Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for DOGWIFHAT. Overnight, I ended up getting stopped out on my trade. I'm happy with the way I managed it, and I'll explain how I did that. I ended up making just over 2 units on my account, which is 2%. I just call them as units. Risk is always 1 unit or 1%. Ended up getting a fake out overnight, and I have re-entered a partial position right now. But I just wanted to discuss mentality. Sometimes I like to give a little bit of history. Like when I was a new trader, I talk with quite a few traders. So I know old habits I had, and maybe you have those too. It's like a trade doesn't work out, you get mad, and you just like walk away from the charts for like a week. And then what ends up happening is you are off by like one wave, and it does exactly what you were expecting it to do. Right? It's a very frustrating thing. I've had it happen to me multiple times in the past, where you're just like, I don't know what the count is. I'm just gonna wait, and it just takes off on you, right? So my piece of advice is to reanalyze and stick with it, and keep looking for getting on the right side of things. There's no certainty in trading. That's one thing that a lot of people seem to not understand. I know I've gotten some comments. I don't really listen to them, but I have newer traders that have no idea, right, of what Elliott Wave is. And when I get a count wrong, they're like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about," right? It's kind of funny to me because that's not the purpose of Elliott Wave at all. But anyway, it's just not enough education, so I just ignore them. I've gone through it all. I know their mentality. I know their frustration. And just hopefully they can educate themselves and see through it. But anyways, let's talk about where we are now. Out on the hourly, have 5 waves up, 3 waves back. Nice little wave 1 or A came between our 50 and the 618, looking for 5 waves up for third or C. Now, one thing I have to do if you see this chart is I have to adjust to modified pitchfork. Now, this could change. We could go back to original, but this just changes this to a channel setup rather than a impulsive trend. Doesn't make a huge difference. I just like to find out which pitchfork is working best. And a lot of times when we have to switch to modified, we end up coming out to like the 200% for like our third wave up here, so we end up hitting target anyway. It's just respecting the channel for the lower end of the trend. So anyways, we'll talk about this area here, and I'll go to the MEXC chart after this because it's much more clean. So first of all, we had our 5 waves up. You can see it respected. This was a modified as well, I believe. Yep. Similar to the larger trend, we got 5 waves to the upside. And yesterday when this area happened, okay, I'm going to switch to the MEXC chart because that's where my trade setups were. So my original entry was here. I let this run through just to show you what I was expecting. Saw this as like a WXY combination with a flat in between, if you remember. In which case, we ended up getting this impulsive looking move. This is how I managed my trade. We got this impulsive looking move on MEXC. I added on the breakout right above here and moved my stops originally to this area on both trades. So I leveraged up pretty significantly because it was a tight stop. And then once we got some separation here, I pulled my fibs because at that moment I had this labeled as our 1, 2, still looking for a third wave up here, 3, 4, 5, and we were expecting 5 waves in this third wave, like so. And I thought it was a possibility. We like double topped and the third was here. But where I'm wrong on this is we cannot overlap with wave 1, right? This is a fourth wave. And we switch probabilities at the 50 of this wave here. That our count is not correct of this middle third wave here. So I ended up putting my stop at the 618. So I moved my original entry that was here up to the 618, moved the entry that was here up to the 618, and got stopped out. But that's how, if I had just left it at the original entry or the original stop, this most likely would have been a break-even trade rather than a +2 unit trade. So I just wanted to show you how to do that. And once you understand Elliott Wave, if that is your read that the bottom is in, why would you ever leave your stop here, right? So hopefully that's some good education for you. If your count is accurate, it should respect those rules and the areas you are expecting. So that's how I managed that trade. Got out at the 3,680 at the 618 pullback. Now we've come back. So where does that put us now, right? Now I have a couple different counts on this one. Clearly a fake out. A 3-wave move. Very frustrating. So I have a couple different ways I've been looking at this. I just ended up buying at the, where is it? Disappeared. Anyways, I'm a third in right now. I just went with my standard entries. I think I put it on the other chart for visual sakes, but traced 382. Sorry, guys. All right. So I bought 1/3 of my position here at the 382. So I am back in. And I'm probably going to add the other 2 at the 50. My stop will go just past the... I haven't decided where I want my stop yet. I am 1/3 in. I haven't put my stop in yet, but I'll probably go with the 66. Just past the 618. Just so I can have a little higher leverage on this. So there's our most common areas, the 382, the 50, and the 618, right in between there. I'll put my stop at 24.19 on this setup, and I'll probably do 1/3, 2/3, just because where the 1-to-1 extension is. So we'll go back here. Now, how can we count this area, right, as the correction? One way I have it is this ends up being a WXY, like so. Let me get rid of this. And what that would be is most likely a double correction here, where we get likely a flat. We get our 3-wave move as the X wave. You can see we came between the 1.236 and the 382 of this move here from the low. But that's where our B waves are, in the middle of a correction, as you know, in a running flat, like so. And if that's the case, and this is our X wave, most likely we'd get a zigzag here as an A, B, C. We've got a flat X wave and a zigzag. And where that would take us is to the 1-to-1 at around 29.08, right at that 50 area. But there is a way this can be completed already, which is why I bought 1/3. And that is if the X wave is over here. I don't like it as much because we're actually truncated in that scenario. But what that would be is a double 3. 2 flats back to back. ABC, get our X. This is a 3 wave, like so. But if that were the case, I'd prefer this make 5 waves to the downside. But that it just looks like it would be very deep if that happened. So most likely expecting just an ABC here to complete. Now, if we are truncated and we just double bottom, then it is complete, as you can see. So either one of those look pretty good. If you're not in this and you want to have a higher position size, I would wait till you get a clean 5 off this on the micro, and then by the pullback you can put your stop at the low. Realize that can fail very easily though with that move there. So right now, just looking for the entry for our standard setup. My average price would be probably somewhere over here if I get both buys, and looking for those upside targets. But once we get a clean 5 and a solid bottoming pattern, I will leverage up and move my stop up. It's just how I do it. All right, so where does that take us? Still looking for those further out, pretty high targets. On log scale, I think it was insane. It was like $5 and 137 for our C wave if this ends up being an ABC. But I'll probably end up going with linear, and this will probably get adjusted back to original pitchfork if we start moving, and that would take us to like 92 cents for our third. But we'll see what happens once this starts moving. But nothing has changed on my viewpoint. Still quite bullish on DOGWIFHAT. As you can see, we're not even at the 50 yet. Literally just grinding our way down here. I just was hoping for a much larger position size so I could profit much more, but that's okay. Hopefully this was helpful the way I manage my trade to show you. You can add it to your knowledge bank there, but right now looking for the 1-to-1 extension as at 29.08, and I am in 1/3 at the moment. Stop is at 24.19. Not financial advice, just what I'm doing, okay? All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.